had a chance on that question? Okay, I think in the interest of time, we will have one last question for all the candidates. This one has to do with, the question is, what are you planning to do with regard to diversification of the state economy and to rein in state budget outlays? Excuse me. And we will begin with Mr. Meade.
Matt Meade, Republican candidate for governor. Great question. First of all, regarding state spending. I think that when you talk about state spending, you have to be very careful of what you're saying, because there's been reports we've tripled the size of state government in the last 7, 8 years. And when you look at it, you have to look at it carefully. For example, Wyoming Workforce Services, which does great things, helps people get jobs. In early 2000s, they had 0 employees. Now they have over 250 employees. But roughly 86% of those are is paid by the federal government. And they are needed now more than ever during a downtime. And so I think the legislature, frankly, and the governor have been pretty responsible in spending and matching the growth of the state of Wyoming over the last 6.5 years. Now, diversification. This is a great thing because we talk about it. Every governor candidate talks about it. We cannot become something we're naturally not. We need to find out what our natural advantages are, and we have many of them in Wyoming. Tourism, ag, we talked about the mineral industry, and find those things that naturally supplement them. And in addition to that, I am a big pusher on improved technology and connectivity. What we want to say is, listen, if you're sitting in downtown Chicago, or you're sitting in downtown Laramie, Wyoming, you have the same capacity to run a high-tech business. That gets young people here. It helps keep young industry here, attracts young industry, and that is, I view, the future. The GE coal gasification project, the new supercomputer that's coming to Wyoming, we are on the tip, and we can do it better. And Wyoming should be able to say, nobody does it better, nobody is better connected than Wyoming. I think we have that opportunity.
Ms. Peterson? Sorry about that.
I find myself in Leslie Peterson, candidate for governor. I find myself in great agreement with my friend Matt here on what he said about state government and diversification, and particularly technology and connectivity. As governor, I feel that our future lies in technology as we retain our mineral industry and we develop all the other aspects of our economy. We still are a small town with a real long main street, and the more connected we are and the greater technology for things like telehealth and other things, we're right on the beginning of those things, and we need to really push them. The other thing I believe in is making our communities more attractive, as we've been doing with the business-ready communities, pouring money into our communities, even with the direct grants. Nobody knows how to spend money locally better than our local elected officials. As a county commissioner for 6 years, I know that we knew better about what our community could do to diversify its economy than anybody in Cheyenne or certainly in Washington. So when we make our communities attractive, they have good infrastructure, they have business-ready places, we are going to be drawing people. We already have a wonderful commitment to education in the state. We have low crime rates. We have an outdoor lifestyle that's envied by everybody in the world. And as we make our communities more attractive, that is another way that we are going to draw people to Wyoming. And we need to support the people who are already here and have chosen to be here and have started small businesses. And there are many ways to do that.
Mr. Rubin?
Tom Euban, Republican for governor. I think we could, help out our communities a lot more by promoting the hunting, fishing, the outdoors. Plus, I agree with Matt there on the communications. I think that's the key to small business in Wyoming. One of the other ways that we could get more revenues into the state, I think maybe with the Powerball. It's not a new tax, it's just something added on. Also, controlling, settling this deal with the wolf problem we have state of Wyoming. We need to get the wolf program under control. It's costing a lot of the cities in the northwest part. A lot of the outfitters and everything, they're losing a lot of customers up there because of the population of elk dwindling. You can't hardly find a moose up there anymore. We need to get that taken care of so that we got that under control, because they lose millions of dollars in revenue up there. But just some of the few things that we need to do in Wyoming to move ahead. Thank you.
I've kind of lost track of who's getting last all the time. But why don't you just fight for the microphone there? Who's closest?
Nicely, we'll fight nicely.
Pete Gosar, Democratic candidate for governor. As the operations manager for the last few years at the Aeronautics Department at the state, you understand that when the fast, loose numbers that have been bantered about in the gubernatorial panel, those mean something. 10% was a sizable cut. We did it. We did it effectively. We instituted ride sharing. We instituted a flight profile that was the most efficient. We instituted a paperless part of our flight review. Now when I hear 20 or 30%, I know there's not that much left until we cut jobs. And so if you're going to pay fast and loose, which has happened on occasion, then you need to talk about which jobs, where, and which departments. Planning for diversification. You know, the Wyoming Business Council is a great entity and has spent much money bringing businesses from the outside in. And the supercomputer is a prime example of a success. But I also think, as a small business owner here, I do my business well, but I do some things not so well. Marketing, the ability to get my name and recognition outside the state maybe. And so if I had access to maybe a professional team of marketeers, or somebody who could help move my business to exporting, we could raise 2 or 3 or 4 jobs here in Laramie. And I know that's true in Riverton. I know it's true in Torrington and Tensley, that there are businesses there that could use a little assistance in the state. That's what the state's for. And then I'm a big believer in fostering entrepreneurship. I think it starts in the high schools. I was a high school teacher. There are kids that are amazing, and we need to start raising and fostering those kids from the very early age. Thank you very much.
First of all of us, Rita Meyer, Republican candidate for governor. First of all of us need to start taking more responsibility for the amount of government that we have in our lives. That's where we start. There is no governor in any of the state's capitals, and there are no legislative bodies that want government to grow. They all understand the implications of government growth. But trust me, every legislative session, what I see is the fine citizens of Wyoming coming to the legislature, demanding new programs that serve a variety of interests. And guess what? All of those demands have new appropriations attached to them. So each of us needs to take responsibility. The governor appoints folks to head all of the state agencies and the separate operating agencies. One of the things I would do as your governor would be to appoint people that clearly understood my philosophy with regards to conservatism in the spending of your taxpayer dollars. That's where you start. Just because there's a new federal program that comes across the desk of an agency director doesn't mean you should take it. With regards to diversity in the economy, there is a lot of diversity out across Wyoming, but the dollar side of that diverse economy will always pale in comparison for many years to come to the energy sector. Your tourism economy here, a great secondary economy, is about $140 million a year in this county. We need to help continue and invest in the tourism industry. It's a fine one for your community and across the state. Thank you.